So then tomorrow, October 14th, we get our first look at Battlefield 2042 Hazard Zone, the not Battle Royale mode that DICE has been teasing since forever, really, since the very beginning of the reveal of the game back in June. A little teaser has been dropped on social media. There's really not that much to be seen, to be honest. The same sort of glitchy style that we saw for previous reveals in the game, obviously the full reveal, gameplay reveal, then Portal as well. It's kind of a familiar style now, but I can't lie, after the beta, I am sort of itching to get more information on 2042 and learn about what DICE has made here for Hazard Zone. I know the beta did have like a bunch of bugs and performance issues, but underneath, I think the team has made a really compelling first-person shooter, so adding Hazard Zone into the mix, I need to know what it is. There's so much rumor and speculation around this mode, we've been talking about it for months. The idea that it's going to be some kind of like Escape from Tarkov Hunt Showdown kind of thing, it gives you that larger scale elimination style effect, but without it being just a battle royale. So there's like some kind of locked in objectives and stuff like that. I've got to admit right now, that does sound really appealing. Now I know there are a lot of people out there that say that Battlefield and Battle Royale don't go together, and I kind of agree in a certain sense if you look at past experience. Obviously, Battlefield 5 had Firestorm, and after a few weeks, that mode pretty much died off. But I actually think that the Firestorm mode was really quite compelling. It was very much like a classic Battle Royale feeling. There wasn't a huge amount going on around the map other than just sort of having to kill the other players that were there. There were some interesting features like unlocking vehicle bunkers and capturing certain points that would then award you with loot. I could see those kind of features blending into other Battle Royale games, but for all intents and purposes, it was very much a classic Battle Royale, and there wasn't a lot linking it into the Battlefield 5 game that it was spawned from. Now, a lot of people said that maybe Battlefield should do a completely separate Battle Royale, and I would have agreed at that point in time. I think that would have been really cool. I think there was an idea going about a year back where they were saying make a Frostbite Battle Royale, where it's like Battlefield, or not even Battlefield, but it's built on the Frostbite engine and it's got the gunplay from a Battlefield game, for example, but you could incorporate loads of different characters into that from different Battlefield games, maybe even the old Medal of Honor games and stuff like that, and that would have been really cool. I think that maybe a year and a half ago would have been a route to go down, but with the rise of Warzone being a game mode within Modern Warfare and then sort of just becoming its own product within the Call of Duty universe, I think it's kind of the right way to go that Hazard Zone appears to be part of 2042, but is a completely separate gameplay type. So even just thinking in that way, I think DICE has gone in the right direction here. Something that's really interesting to think about is that DICE is actually touting Hazard Zone as an all-new, high-stakes multiplayer experience, and apparently it's very squad-focused. They've said that multiple times in their marketing campaign. Now, having just played the open beta, I think a lot of you will agree with me that there wasn't a huge amount of teamwork on offer in the open beta. And I don't know if that's because a lot of people were playing on their own and experiencing the specialist for the first time and then just sort of doing their own thing, but arguably the specialist system has been created so that you can take a character, pick whatever you want, and play however you want. And you can be very selfish in that regard. Like, I'll be honest, I spent most of the open beta playing as the Falk specialist, because she has that Surette gun that can heal people, but you can also heal yourself with it. And then I was running around with an ammo crate as a secondary, so I had heals and ammo on the same specialist, and it was kind of like a one-man army. And the reason I started doing that is because nobody was handing out heals, and nobody was handing out ammo, and that's what I needed, so I just sort of did it myself and created that system. But within Hazard Zone, it's supposed to be this squad-based experience, which admittedly is what the multiplayer Battlefield should have felt like, but it didn't really feel like that in the open beta, so I wonder how this is going to be structured to sort of be more squad-based if the multiplayer wasn't squad-based enough. I really do feel like in the open beta that the specialist system just showcased that classes are kind of needed for Battlefield. We need those distinct gameplay roles within certain sections so that when you pick a character or you pick a class, you know what you're supposed to do with it. And I understand DICE going down a different direction with the specialists and trying to give players more freedom of choice, but you could probably say you could do that just by giving people an open pick on the weapons and not locking in the weapons to certain classes. By not locking in the gadgets to certain classes, it just turned the multiplayer into a bit of a free-for-all, And I think it needed to be locked down a little bit more. So with that in mind from the open beta, how's it going to work in Hazard Zone? I guess we're going to have to wait and see. Another thing that I've just picked up on, I've opened up the premiere on YouTube for the Hazard Zone trailer. And if you open up the description, sometimes you can see a little bit more relevant information in there. Somebody actually picked out from, I think, the Spanish Battlefield YouTube channel or something, that the original open beta dates were set for September, and somebody hadn't updated the copy in the description, so it still showed the old dates. So, you know, if you're looking for Battlefield information, sometimes it is worth just looking in the more obvious places. You might find something interesting, but this is what I found here. It says, tune in on October 14th to discover Battlefield Hazard Zone, an all-new high-stakes multiplayer experience. Okay, it doesn't say Battlefield 2042 Hazard Zone. It says Battlefield Hazard Zone. And that's kind of the same thing as Battlefield Portal. It's not called Battlefield 2042 Portal. It's called Battlefield Portal. And so, for me, that makes a huge difference, because if it was called Battlefield 2042 Hazard Zone, you'd be like, right, okay, Hazard Zone is around for 2042. It's part of 2042. It's a thing that's going to happen for this game, and then maybe that's it. Or whatever's come next. Battlefield 7 Hazard Zone, or whatever. No, they're calling it Battlefield Hazard Zone. They're taking away the game name, the 2042 part, and just having the franchise name in front of it. That, to me, says that they're a bit more confident in this thing that they're going to put out there becoming something for the Battlefield franchise for perhaps a long time moving forwards. The same with Portal. Portal was received by the community, you guys and me, extremely well, because it's going to give us so much control over the Battlefield experience, control that we haven't really had since the Battlefield 4 days, really. And I think that they recognised how important that was going to be, and instead of calling it Battlefield 2042 Portal, they called it Battlefield Portal. So maybe that when the next Battlefield game comes along in a few years' time, they can iterate upon it, build upon it, and make it part of that game as well, making it a franchise feature, so to speak. So the fact that they're doing the same thing here with Hazard Zone, I mean, admittedly, it is only text in the bottom of a YouTube description. I understand that, but, you know, I think it's a decision that's been made, like, specifically, because if you look at the line above it, it says Battlefield 2042 is available November 19th, 2021. So they've labelled Battlefield 2042 above it, but then right below is just Battlefield Hazard Zone, not Battlefield 2042. I think that's really interesting. And then branching beyond that, I kind of want to finish by talking about Hazard Zone alongside other sort of elimination-style experiences, because apparently Hazard Zone is not a Battle Royale, so can we directly compare it to something like Apex Legends or Warzone? Maybe not. If the idea is it's going to be more like Escape from Tarkov and Hunt Showdown, then maybe we should be comparing it to those. But, you know, they've made this thing about it being not a Battle Royale. Like, I don't really know what to compare it to at the moment. But one thing I can say is that we don't know whether this is going to be a free-to-play element of Battlefield 2042. Is it going to be a way for DICE and EA to say, look, come and play 2042 Hazard, or not 2042 Hazard Zone, come and play Battlefield Hazard Zone, see what you think. If you like the experience that you're having, you can buy the $60 game and you can rank up all your guns in multiplayer and all that kind of stuff, and you can play Portal and you can play all these old Battlefield stuff. Is this going to be a way to get people to come on board in 2042, entice more players and bring people in exactly like Warzone did for Modern Warfare 2019? Modern Warfare 2019, it was a $60 product at launch in, what was it, November 19, and then by March, so 4 months later, they launched this massive free-to-play Battle Royale. It didn't really matter that it was a Battle Royale. The fact that it was a free-to-play element opened the door massively for loads more players to come in, and massively inflated the player counts and made sure that matchmaking times were always low. Plus, there was cross-play available as well, so it was just this giant behemoth of a thing. Is that what DICE is going for here with Hazard Zone? At the moment, we don't know, because we don't know if you're going to have Battlefield 2042 in order to play Hazard Zone, but I do think this would be a massive opportunity for DICE and EA to say, look, this is free to play, come in, play it, see what you think, experience some of 2042, and if you want to buy the rest of it, it's right here. I think a lot of games are doing that nowadays. If you look at Halo that's coming out in December, multiplayer in Halo is going to be free to play, which is absolutely massive. So I think a lot of studios have got this mindset on of, let's make a AAA product that costs money, but also let's have a backdoor entrance, basically, that says, hey, you can come and play this bit for free if you want to, and if you feel like it's an experience worth buying, then you can buy the rest of our product over here. I think that is something that DICE and EA will have massively considered for 2042. If you look at the success of Apex Legends, I understand it's not the same thing because it's not linked to a AAA product, but just look at how many players that brought in for EA. They can't not be thinking about it for Battlefield 2042. I think they'd be a bit silly if they hadn't thought about that. But there we go. Battlefield Hazard Zone coming tomorrow. We're going to see the trailer. We're going to see what happens. And of course, I'll be here to make a video for when that happens. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And I'll catch you all tomorrow.